Yo guys, what's up? I'm back. Sorry it took a while. I took a break, randomly started making a video game, went on vacation, and I moved. So, yeah. Then I locked in and I built this. The chapter is so long. But, yeah, let's just get right into it. So I actually skipped the first few sections of the beginning of this chapter just because it was annoying me to build. I had to go and watch the cutscene where Joel and Tess find out Ellie's infected like 50 billion times, and it was just annoying. So I moved on straight to the building that you enter into after the guards are trying to find you, and unfortunately it is a diagonal building. I tried to make it not diagonal, but there was no workaround because it's trapezoidal. Then I was thinking about making the next section not diagonal, but I had to because it backs that building, and the building's diagonal, so... There's nothing really much to say about the building, it's just lots of diagonals, which I hate, but I think it came out okay. Then I didn't record the next section because it was also diagonal, and I had to change it around so it would fit together. And I also had to change the direction that was going so it wouldn't run into everything. So I just didn't record that. So, onto... So then I hopped right into the building that you entered, and there's nothing really much to say about it. We're just building the interiors and everything. It is tilted though, it's crooked, so I had to make it crooked, which was annoying. And you see I had to change it there, but yeah, it was really just a lot of copy and pasting and hoping that I got the proportions right. After that, I skipped right into the part right before the first clicker section, just because it was a bunch of hallways and random rooms that you can run into, like the shiv doors and everything, so I just skipped that, but yeah. Then we get to the overhang with the clicker section. It's just a bunch of detailing work and trying to build on the slabs because, again, the building is tilted, so I was trying to make it tilted. And a little bathroom. Yeah, that was about that, and then we got into the stairwell, which I decided to make slabs because just with stairs it went down too far. And then we got out to the scaffolding area, which, fun fact, whenever you get here, a building just appears out of nowhere. I didn't build that building because I already had other buildings in there, so I just skipped that and left the other building that you can see before that. There's a lot of stuff like that in this game. Just stuff that appears out of absolutely nowhere. This section right now is like the scariest part of the game. Whenever I got it when I was like 12, I was so scared that Tess and Ellie were not with me, and they just sent me like by myself. Yeah, working our way down the building, we get into the underground subway tunnels, which I made kind of a little bit too big, I think, but I just ran with it. Getting the proportions of it was kind of annoying too, because it had to connect over to the museum, which I already had built like the facade of it and the street and everything, and where the entrance is leading. So I just had to sort of make it bigger and bigger. And then the exit to it was not big enough. These little stores and everything were interesting, just to build and try and detail, like with the counters and all the items and stuff. Like there's gift cards and there's like a coffee shop. It was like my favorite part to build of this, probably this section anyway. This is that coffee shop. I think I did a good job with it. It looks accurate to the game, I think. Especially with, you know, using giant blocks and everything. Although I will say the shelves were definitely hard to build because you have to use full blocks and there's like different types of shelves, so I try to make it as accurate as possible. And then I skipped the museum section because it was annoying. Onto the Capitol building. I had to move it around a bunch because it was, again, just annoying because I had already planned out that tall pillar in the background is where the Capitol building was, so that I could see it from the opening in the tilted building, and then from the exit of the museum. So it had to be there. But yeah, I had to move it because I realized I was too far away. It wasn't that big of an issue. And I'm building a little gazebo and everything. I built some swan boats too off camera. Those are probably my favorite part of building. I think they came out really good. So the inside is, I mean, nothing to write home about. I gave it the arch in the top. It's supposed to be in the dome, but the dome was not made of glass, so I just put fog lights in it to simulate the light. And yeah, this little courthouse room I think came out good. I had to move some stuff around, and it's not quite accurate to scale, but I think it came out fine. Then we have these little rooms that are offset in this encounter area. And then the main encounter area for right after Tessa's death. Skip to the subway station, just because I was making background buildings and stuff. The subway station also unfortunately ended up at a diagonal, which is, I mean, it's not a big deal because I can make it work, but it's just annoying to build on diagonals constantly. The trains weren't too hard. Actually, I think the diagonal train came out the best because it was the biggest on the inside. I went in and made this little secret area to the right where you can get the Firefly pennant and some gears and stuff. And then I did the little blockage that's forcing you to go up. And then, yeah, I just defined a little bit of the subway tunnel before we get to the ending section of chapter 3. I did most of these from before the cutscene. After the cutscene, I got access to this building and a couple others, but some of them changed, so I just left them as they were. And with that last little nearly 24 hours of building wrapped up into a nice little 3 minutes and 30 seconds for your viewing convenience, I actually have no idea how it took 24 hours. This is The Last of Us in Minecraft, Chapter 3.
I think it's a bit strange they're having us do their smuggling.
Well, they wanted to do it herself. We weren't their first choice. What is the deal with you? You some bigwig's daughter or something?
Something like that.
Once we get out there, I need you to follow our lead and stay close.
Yeah, of course.
Now hold up. There's a patrol up ahead. Why the hell are we smuggling an infected girl?
I'm not infected.
Yes. Run. Run!
When I give you the signal, you run. Now, run. It's gonna be another sprint. You ready?
I see him.
It must have gotten through. Check the trenches.
I don't see anything down there. Are we sure they can't do it?
Just keep scanning.
Stay down and let me see you. We can get through here.
There's so many of them out here. How are we supposed to get past them?
They ain't spotted us yet. Let's go around. It's too damn close to us. Let's see where this leads.
Yeah, this looks right. Stay close.
At least we're out of the rain. Think we can squeeze through here.
Charlie Squad, report.
Shh. Got more soldiers.
Target's still on the loose, sir. Break off pursuit. Report back to Sector 11.
Don't think they see us.
If there's anything we can use here.
Sure thing, boss. Tess, up through here through this pipe. I think we can make it through here. Whoa. Jesus.
What if it's true? What if, Joel?
Well, I need to remind you what is out there.
I get it. If we cut through downtown, we can hit the Capitol building by sunrise.
Holy moly. I guess this is what these buildings look like up close. So what happened?
Found the hell out of the surrounding areas to the quarantine zones, hoping to kill as much of the infected as possible. What the hell was that?
Tess, you hear that?
Sounded pretty far away, though.
There's the Capitol building.
We need to get around this mess. Body's pretty fresh.
God damn it. Clicker.
If you hear one clicking, you gotta hide. That's how they spot you.
Watch your head.
Search for supplies. Here, patch yourself up.
The building feels like it's about to fall apart.
Come on, big guy. Give me your hand.
Go, go. Here you go, ladies.
This is crazy. Just don't look down.
Jesus. I'll go check it out. Stay with the girl.
Come on down.
Down we go.
Let's get to it. Can you get through here?
Now I was thinking, after we get back, take it easy for a little while.
You want to take it easy?
Hey, you're the one always going on about laying low.
And you always brush me off. Through here. Tess, down here.
Look at his sleeve. Firefly.
These guys aren't doing well in or out of the city. Over there, see him?
Shit. God, we're almost out. Okay, Joey, you take point. I'll watch the rear. No matter what, you stay right on his heels. Sure. You stay sharp.
Where we going, Tess?
Capitol building's in this direction. They're recently infected. Those soldiers must have just turned. You got something on your shoe.
Okay, how do we get out of this place?
Let's find out. An old museum. Some of these things are hundreds of years old.
I'll make my way around. Tess?
Tess.
The girl! This way. This will get us to the roof. There she is. That's our building.
All right. Now watch your step as you're going up. It's just gonna be a little... So is that everything you hoped for?
The jury's still out. But man, can't deny that view. It's right around this corner. Come on. What if we get there and they're all dead? They won't be. But how do you know? I just do. Look, it's gonna be fine.
Home stretch, Tess.
Just so it's out there, I can't swim. Like it looks like it's shallow on the right side. Follow me. I'm glad Marlene hired you guys. What do you mean? I know you guys are getting paid for this, but I'm trying to save things. This is my last stop.
Holy shit. She's infected.
You get her to Tommy's. No, just go. Just fucking go.
What the fuck? I can't believe we did that.
Stop.
We just left her to die.
Stop. Stay close to me. We have to move.
Oh, man.
Go upstairs. I'll only get up there.
Take out the door. You follow me. Yes, sir.
They're gonna be here soon.
to get out of here.
Stay down. I don't know how many more there are.
Joel, there's the exit.
I see it.
Copy that.
How the hell are you breathing in this stuff?
I wasn't lying to you. I can't swim.
We'll figure something out.
Ellie?
I'm fine. You're not gonna leave me, right? Down there?
It's a dead end. Get on.
Really?
Ellie. And lastly, you do what I say when I say it. Repeat it.
What you say goes.
So that was chapter 3, and we're officially like 2.5 hours into this 12-hour game. So, I mean, flying over the build, it doesn't seem that long, and I mean, I guess the chapter really isn't, especially compared to some of the other ones. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. We're only one chapter away from that now, and I am not excited. Anyways, you may have noticed that I did some command block work this chapter to make some animations. Well, I mean, quote-unquote animations. I did air quotes, but you can't see me, so... but anyways, I wanted to try it. I've never really used command blocks before, but they're pretty intuitive, and I don't know, I wanted to make the build feel more alive and be more interactable. So, yeah. And these were those swan boats that I was talking about earlier. They're like a small detail, but I don't know, I really like the way they came out. I think they're pretty accurate. I don't know, I just like them. But, yeah. That's about it for this chapter. I'll probably see y'all in like another 6 months, let's be honest. Like, well, I mean, Bill's town isn't that long, right? It's like, what? The beginning section with the town, and then Bill's hideout, and then the graveyard, and the houses, the little suburban area, and then the school, and then the car chase, and I mean, you're done. I mean, it's not that bad, right? I mean, no, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's 4 a.m. I mean, let's wrap this up. Like, that's it for this. Bye bye.